Alrighty, everybody. Mesomat back here with another forecast for you guys. Appreciate y'all for watching this video. It is June 23rd, 2024. Appreciate y'all for being here this afternoon. We are about to be doing some live severe weather coverage for the Northeast today, here in about an hour or so. So I'm making this video now. I'm going to be getting on live stream here in about an hour. So if you guys are setting a live stream schedule, like I mentioned yesterday on stream, we'll be live between 12 and 12:30. That's kind of the time frame on it here for the Northeast. We'll be on today for a couple hours, covering severe weather, covering a pretty big tornado potential that we have across much of the far northeast. And then all the way down into the Tennessee Valley, we could have a couple wind and hail storms this afternoon. So once again, guys, appreciate y'all for being here. Make sure y'all watch this video all the way through. Comment if you have any questions, as always, and we'll go ahead and dive into this here, guys. On your screen here, we do have, let's go ahead and start up in the northern plains here, where we do have a marginal and a slight risk of severe weather. They did add that slight risk this morning. Confidence in a wind and hail risk. Maybe an isolated tornado or two can't be ruled out anytime you have severe weather, as always. Northeastern Montana here and northwestern and northern North Dakota. Marginal level 1 risk in that green shading here. And a level 2 risk in that yellow. We'll be watching for wind and hail up here. Not really looking at much of a tornado risk, but something to be noted of just in case it does happen. You can get your couple of random storms that do produce something. We do have a new marginal risk of severe weather here in northwestern Kansas into southern Nebraska as well. Be mindful of this for you guys that are in this area, wind and hail there. Now, our main event today. This is what we've been talking about all day yesterday. We talked about it on stream last night. We do have an enhanced risk of severe weather up here into parts of New England. We've got Connecticut on the edge of that there. Be mindful here in the far northeast. We've got Springfield, Boston, Franklin, Concord. We've got Portland, Biddeford as well. Be mindful if you're in this orange enhanced risk area. This is going to be a pretty big wind event. We actually have a regional tornado outbreak that could happen today in this area. So be mindful that we could see that potential for a couple tornadoes, maybe a strong tornado or two. Just be, like I said, mindful of that there. This goes all the way up here to the Burlington area and into the Bethlehem, St. Johnsbury, Burlington, Plattsburgh area. Be mindful of this here, guys. Like I said, wind, hail, and a couple tornadoes could be possible. Wind up to about 75 miles an hour is expected potentially. Storm that can mature in this area. We do have a slight risk of severe weather basically from the Portland area all the way here into all of Pennsylvania. You're in a slight risk. All of Connecticut, you're in a slight risk. Rhode Island, New York City is in that. Philadelphia. That slight risk does extend into the far eastern and southeastern Ohio Valley, northwestern West Virginia. You got Parkersburg in there. You got Morgantown, Charleston, Ashland, and then you get this all the way down here into Kentucky, where we have a wind and hail risk as well. Marginal risk in that green shading. So it goes level 1, level 2, and level 3 in that orange shading out of 5. So if you're looking at all this, the further southwest you go down toward the Tennessee Valley, the less severe weather chances you have of happening. I do want to talk about that tornado risk in that green shaded area here on your screen from northwestern West Virginia into the Ohio Valley. All of Pennsylvania has a chance of seeing a tornado today, potentially. This is a green shaded area. It means a 2% chance of seeing a tornado within a 25-mile radius of a given point. In that maroon shaded area there, that brown, that is a 5%. And then in that yellow, that rare yellow percent that comes out, this is our first 10% tornado risk since, I believe, the moderate risks that we had in the Ohio Valley and Missouri Valley a couple weeks ago. So be mindful that these 10% tornado risks can sometimes produce or sometimes not produce. And I do think that we'll have a couple tornado warnings in this area today. Maybe a couple tornadoes actually happen. It doesn't happen a lot that these risk zones happen in this area. So please make sure to have watches and alerts to get those on your phones, guys. This is a pretty serious day for tornado potential if things go the way they could go. Now, we also have a wind percent today in that red shaded area. That's a 30% chance there of seeing winds up to 75 miles an hour. In the yellow shaded area, you get a 15% chance of seeing winds up to 60 miles an hour. And in that maroon, also 5% chance of seeing winds up to 60. Now, the hail risk for today as well. Really not expecting too much hail damage today. We got a 15 and a 5. No, we just have a 5%. So there's a 5% chance across the board here for hail from Kentucky all the way up to Portland. Now, tomorrow's risk as well, guys. We do have another significant weather event that could involve tomorrow. We have a marginal risk of severe weather along the coastline from this trailing cold front that'll be coming through tomorrow from today. Charleston all the way up to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Be mindful of wind and hail. Now, we do have a small tornado risk as of right now for tomorrow. I do think this will get upgraded to a 5, maybe even a 10 if the models continue to trend with the tornado. We have very, very high tornado parameters across northern and central Minnesota tomorrow. And this is something that we're going to have to watch very closely. This will probably be a late initiation event tomorrow. We'll talk about what this is going to look like here in just a second as well. But we're going to have a little low that pops up over Canada, kind of with a shortwave trough ejection here in the northern plains. And we could see severe weather across the board from Iowa, down to Michigan, and to parts of Wisconsin. We got Illinois again, Kansas and Missouri on the edge of that as well there. Kansas and Missouri on the edge of that as well. getting into North Dakota and South Dakota. But I do think if we get a enhanced risk of severe weather, it's going to probably be somewhere in the Minneapolis, Duluth area, maybe a little bit further north. This will kind of be like what we saw last week where we had that conditional tornado risk and we had a bunch of tornado warnings kind of pop off in this area. So I think we're kind of looking at the same thing. And as we go into Tuesday looks to be a bigger day as well. We have a slight risk and marginal risk of severe weather for your Tuesday. I do think there's a chance that this does extend down into Oklahoma and Texas. The models are trying to hint at a pretty decent shortwave trough ejection over a ridge that we have that's been still ongoing here in the Ohio Valley. The chance of severe storms could be as far down as Oklahoma by the time we get to Tuesday. We'll kind of watch that and see what it does. But as of now, level 2 risk in that yellow shading, level 1 in the marginal risk. We have all modes of severe weather will be possible for Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, parts of Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, into Minnesota. Again, you name it here. We're really going to be more focused on that slight risk area. I do think this could shift a little bit further south as well if the models can kind of agree on things. So we don't have a severe weather forecast for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday yet, but I do think that there could be something for Wednesday, remotely possibly down here in the Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee Valley if this cold front can push through and potentially still fire off storms on Wednesday. So we'll watch this, and in future videos here, guys, we'll giving you guys updates on what's going to be happening with this. Now, go back to today's risk here. We'll talk about the timing for this, and then we'll talk about the overall pattern and what we're going to be looking for down the road. Up here into the northeast, here's going to be your storm risk for potentially today. Not in the northeast, but up in here into the northern plains first. We will see storms initiate here in a couple of hours, a couple cells popping up around overnight to, this looks to be between 10 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Not really looking at a lot, so be mindful in those areas. A couple of storms could be severe. Now over here in the northeast, we'll have that cold front push through here. A couple cells could be firing off here anywhere in that enhanced risk, really going to be that higher tornado percentage. Most of the storms look to be in that area. Down here, we got scattered isolated cells from PA, New York, all the way down here into the Ohio Valley. These will be pushing through. I do think the severe weather threat for most of these areas will be gone and out of here by 8, 9 o'clock tonight. It's not going to be too late of an overnight event, I don't think. It's more of like a daytime heating driven event, I think, in my opinion, on this. So we'll be watching for all modes of severe weather. I do want to point out one more thing as well. The tornado parameters for today are actually pretty impressive as far as the northeast goes. And this, like I said, does not happen that often. So be mindful in this area today, guys. Have a way to get alerts on your phones. Tornado parameters are relatively high in this area, especially as we go closer to 6 and 7 p.m. near the Dover, Franklin, Portland, Boston area. So be mindful, Boston, Massachusetts, you guys don't see tornadoes a lot. Definitely going to be possible today, so be mindful of that. Not saying that's going to happen, but there's a chance. Down the road here, you can see those tornado parameters as far down as Tennessee, potentially, so be mindful of that tornado risk. And as we go into tomorrow for Monday, you guys can see on the board here in Minnesota, we're going to have to watch these tornado parameters in Minnesota. I think Minnesota has the chance to be a pretty big day tomorrow. We'll probably be live for this as well, but be mindful. Minnesota and western Wisconsin, we could see a couple of tornadoes even into Iowa as well overnight into Tuesday. So that's that, guys. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the week here. Give you guys that forecast. Here's your upper level jet stream or mid-level jet stream here. You can see that low here and then another low here. Both of these will be moving off here towards the coastline today after these get out of the northeast. You can see as we go into Monday and Tuesday, there's that new jet streak that'll be coming in for your Monday. You can see right along that zonal jet stream there is where we'll see that severe weather for Monday. A little bit of a southwesterly tilt flow as the storm gets closer to the Canada line, where I think those tornado parameters will be moving. Like I said, that low be moving off to the northeast coastline here soon as well after today, and then we'll be looking at more of a northwesterly to southeasterly flow as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And this is where I think things will get a little bit active in the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Midwest as we go later into this week, where we could see a ridge developing over here in the parts of the Four Corners. That would bring severe weather to the Ohio Valley and Southeast. We need the rain here badly. Hopefully we can get it. And then as we go into this coming weekend, we could see a little bit more of an organized low potentially set up on Saturday and Sunday, where we could see a bigger significant severe weather event possibly in the Midwest, Northern Plains, Ohio Valley on Saturday, Sunday, and following Monday. So that's a lot to look at, and then another trough ejection as we go into the first week of July. So you guys can see the pattern here. We're really going to be looking at a lot of potential severe weather events as we go through the next couple of weeks here. And I'm just kind of giving you guys an idea on where we could see that precipitation at. You can see that low up there in the northeast, just giving you an idea here throughout next week of who's going to potentially see some rain, some scattered showers. You can see the Ohio Valley getting active on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then as we go into Thursday and Friday, you know, that'll kind of work its way off to the northeast. We'll get a new storm that develops, a more organized low to develop on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then that'll work its way off the coast. And then we'll set up a pattern as we go into the first week of July, where I think things will start to get really, really active in the southeast and Ohio Valley. And that'll be subject to change if we get that ridge to develop in the West Pacific and Four Corners or not. So Guys, like I said, I'll be live here in about an hour or so covering severe weather across the Northeast. I do appreciate y'all for watching this. Make sure you share this out, comment on it if you have any questions. Hopefully, y'all will see you guys in the live stream this afternoon. Be safe, be weather aware, have a way to get alerts on your phones, and I'll see you guys on the live stream.